Hello everyone, Lou here. I just got back from a wonderful conversation with my friend after playing badminton. Yay, we stayed late afterwards, after the session was over, and chatted for like an hour and a half. Don't you just love that kind of conversation where people are so connected and they just forget about time? It reminds me of what life is all about, is just to be able to spend your time freely on things that you enjoy, on things that inspires you, without worrying and checking the clock constantly, checking the watch to see what time it is and when your next obligation is. Well, eventually we had to depart from each other because we both actually had family obligations. So that's a different story. Family obligations is different, at least in my opinion. Well, anyways, so we were talking about, interestingly, we're talking about his family, and then we got to talk about depression. This is a bit of a heavier topic, but we're gonna dive into it just a little bit today. He mentioned that his daughter, when he was 14, when she was 14, 15 years old, apparently suffered a little bit from depression, as well as when she was just a little bit older in her first and second year of university. And that being a father, he remembered at the time he just couldn't quite connect with her sometimes, and she would push him away and not communicate with her, and he wouldn't know what to do. I mean, he's a first generation immigrant, and his family works very hard to support themselves. And that he said that at the time when his daughter is pushing him away, that he didn't know what to do, and he felt that all the hard work that he was putting into supporting the family all of a sudden just start to lose its meaning, because this is her daughter that he's working so hard for, and then he's unable to communicate with her. And it was very interesting to hear him say that. I mean, I guess interesting isn't really the right word here. It was very moving to and inspiring to actually hear him tell me about his experience. I mean, first of all, I really appreciate him sharing with me, and especially since I've personally suffered depression as well in my past. And I remember, because of what he's telling me, that I remember now there were times when I was pushing my parents away a little bit. I mean, my parents and we were first generation immigrants as well, and my parents worked very hard, and they still work hard until this day to support the family. And I'm independent now, but still, that's one of the reasons why I want to have a successful business and have freedom and make a lot of money, is to retire my parents, because they've worked so hard for me. And I remember there were times when they were so busy working that they didn't have enough time to spend with me, and I became disconnected with them, and I eventually developed depression. And in the beginning, I mean, I love my parents very much, but when you are in the depths of despair, you sometimes start to blame other people. And I mean, I don't know about anyone else who suffered depression, but for me, it was very difficult, because first of all, I didn't admit that I had depression, and I didn't understand it, and nobody understood it. Anyways, not my parents, not any of the family, not anyone I knew really. And it was very difficult, and it's hard being young and feeling helpless. And sometimes I wondered whether I wish my parents would spend more time with me, so that I wouldn't necessarily, develop depression. But that thought only went through my mind very quickly, maybe once or twice, because I understand, even though that was depressed in the depths of my deepest, most saddest times, that my parents loved me, and that was a firm conviction in my mind. I knew for a fact, more than a fact, and proven for my whole life. It was almost a belief, and this time, in this case, I know fully justified that my parents loves me. My parents love me deeply with everything they have, and they do a lot of what they do for me. And I know it, being an only child coming from China and things like that. And I know it, so I couldn't blame them, because I know for them it was survival on the one hand, or a better living on the other hand. This comes to Maslow's 5 tiers of requirements for living, of the important 5 tiers. The basic level being survival. And my parents were, new immigrants, and they were still working on survival, while what I required was these higher level, sociability and socialization and things like that. That's like level 3. But that's what quality of life is all about. I mean, I was fed, I was housed, but they didn't have time to spend with me. And I don't blame them at all, because I know they love me. And eventually, this is the important thing that I want to talk about today, is that eventually we have to arrive at the conclusion that as much as we want to love one another, ourselves, and our family, our friends, for every single person, there is a limit to their love, because we're simply human beings. It's nothing to be ashamed of, and it's nothing to blame each other on. Just like we only have 24 hours in a day, just like we need our sleep, just like my hand can only reach this far, this tall, because the physical limitations of my arm. That's just the way it is. It's not a negative thing by any means. It's for you to remember whenever you blame someone else for not doing something for you. Especially family members, especially parents, and especially close friends, like anyone who you expect to love you more. You gotta remember, this is one of the tricks to get rid of expectations, which is so often does more damage than what it's worth. To get rid of the expectations, you gotta remember that everyone has limitations. And it's not that they don't love you, it's that they are all balancing so many things in the world. It's a big, busy world. Everyone is balancing so many things that they simply don't have the ability to quite reach that far to love you as how you need it and desire to be loved. And this is where you come to the conclusion that who supply the missing love? Don't look around at other people. Don't look left and right. Look in the mirror. It's you, yourself. You must supply the missing love. You must be your parents for yourself when your parents can't be there for you. Be grandparents to yourself when your grandparents can't be there for you. Be best friend to yourself when your best friends can't be there for you. And of course, this is not easily done. When you're already down and missing love, it's so hard to get that love again. But just remember that your friends and family love you very, very much. And at any moment that you need love, they are loving you. They may not be physically doing it, but they would want to if they had unlimited amount of love. They would love you deeply and give you all the love you desire. So try to use this to lend yourself strength, especially when you're depressed and need all the love you can. And try to be positive and think about the love in the world. I mean, don't just feel victimized. It does not help to feel victimized. It just sends you down a spiral of feeling worse and worse for yourself. And do not victimize other people, and do not feel victimized by other people. You have the choice. You can choose not to be victimized. You can choose to feel happy, and you can choose to feel loved, and do little things for yourself. You know, when someone else is supposed to give you flower, stop and smell the flowers you see. I suppose we were only supposed to dive a little bit into depression, but a lot of the times there is the chemical imbalance, but it's also all in here and the way you think. I fought through my depression, so I know. I mean, sometimes you're lucky enough to be prescribed medication, and sometimes that's an unlucky thing as well. But if you're worse enough that you are prescribed medication, then you gotta take it. Think of it as a kickstart for yourself. Don't feel sad. Don't feel victimized. Oh, I'm being medicated, and I understand. I was there. I felt like that before. But it doesn't help you to feel bad about yourself. It does not. You just end up feeling worse and worse and worse, and sink deeper and deeper into a ditch until it's difficult. You stretch the limit of the love of your friends and family. Why would you want to do that? If you want more love, be more positive, be more lovable. Lovable. That's our word for the day. Be lovable. You know what? I like that very much. You just came up with that right there. So be lovable. That's going to be the title of today's little video. And love and be lovable. There. I just solved the depression problem. Be lovable. Yeah, right. It's definitely a complicated issue. But I mean, as complicated as, small things help. And small things stack on each other, and they help, and they get better. And you just slowly crawl your way out of the deep ditch and be lovable and be an angel in the meantime. So that there's going to be a lot of willing and helping hands to grab you out of that ditch. So, have a great day, make it a great day, and be lovable. Thank you very much again for watching this. If you like this sort of video, please comment below. Anything you like, questions, comments, whatever. It's all welcome. Like the video or badass it or whatever perks, thank you if you like the video. Be lovable.